All right, we are live. Good morning to our drivers. Salam alaikum. Good afternoon to Munir. He, of
Good
course, is
morning.
7 hours ahead, as Europe sort of is always ahead of the U.S. in fashion, in
Of course, it
time
is
zones and everything else. But we're trying to
in,
catch up.
in history and existence and everything else.
Yes, sir.
Now
The
we have public toilets older than the continent of America.
That's right, but we have freedom.
that
So take that and
was a,
take your toilets and
that,
shove them up your.
that was a joke for you guys Americans. Freedom of speech, of course, it exists in Europe as well. Believe it or not.
Not like America, baby.
All
Not like America.
right, all righty,
And we have the bald eagle. So,
all righty.
um, let's get rolling. Welcome back to another daily recap by A&M with 100% of its hosts today in attendance. Yesterday, out of our 46 available drivers, 36 were booked, 10 were not, 78% fleet utilization rate. Our goal is to get above 90%, so let's move in that direction, man. Let's start booking more loads, you know?
You
Easy.
have to, man. Easy.
581 bids, 44 booked loads, 7.75 win ratio with 560 average pay. You know what, man? We got to drop our rates a little bit. I know nobody wants to hear that, but for like 2 weeks in a row, we're floating around 7%, 6%, 8%. At the end of the day, there's a finite amount of loads we can go after, and if we're winning a low percentage, that means that that's part of why we have drivers not being booked every day. So we're gonna go in today and see where adjustments can be made with our pricing, okay?
hmm
I'll let you go over
Code
this.
Code red drivers. Thankfully, some drivers that were yesterday. If you remember, we had a guy in Washington, we had a guy in Florida. Those were booked. Now we are left with some better areas, but still problematic situations. We have a driver, 634 Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's home on full self dispatch. He is bidding yesterday. He had 21 bids and was not booked for when we spoke with him, provided him more feedback since he's one of the new guys as well on how he's bidding. He's adamant that he's okay right now. So hopefully, in his eyes, he's saying it's not urgent, but for us, it's urgent. He's waiting for like 19 hours, and we need to get that sorted. We have a guy in New York. He's actually, I think, home as well. I think I know he's home as well. He has decent setup as well. East has been specifically difficult yesterday. As you can see, another one on the list is in Pittston, PA. For the driver that is second on the list, 335, we had around 50 bids yesterday, believe it or not, and we failed to book him. That's a huge, huge problem. Of course, something we don't want to see, and hopefully, the only way forward is to book the driver as soon as possible. So all of these guys on the list, except the first guy, they delivered or got available yesterday morning up to noon, and they were not booked. The guy that is in Voltaire, North Dakota, is moving down to Fargo. He delivered in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So pretty much he was available, ready to go, but he was relocating. So that's the reason for him not being booked.
Cool. We'll do our best to book these. It's not terrible. I mean, fleet-wise, 10 hours means that they were waiting all day yesterday. So we had three drivers in that category, and then the rest of them were waiting for a large chunk of yesterday, but not the whole day. Obviously, the goal is to get everyone booked, as we say. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna work towards achieving that. Onward, we had 5 candidates cleared yesterday, all here on the east part of the US, so no one was going to Alberta and those areas over there. Good job to our ops team as always. Driver spotlight, we have Ahmed Hodzic, one of our long time drivers, and one of the pioneers of self-bidding. I think since we created that in the app, Ahmed has been 100 or close to 100%. Is he
Mm,
100% self-bidding?
100% self bid. Maybe like I don't remember the last time he we placed a bid on him without his assistance.
Yes, I think the whole US is yellow. I don't think he has anything green. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about his on-time performance with 228 stops, 100% on time. Just shows that it is possible. Thank you for your hard work, man. Thank you for. We know that in order to be 100%, you have to be willing to make um, sacrifices. We know you have to be willing to work really hard, because there are times where, you may not want to leave to get to the pickup now. Maybe you're like, well, I could spend a little bit more time with the family, or I could get a little bit more rest, and then I can, still get there on time. But I'll tell you this, drivers who have 100% on time performance are people who take such pride in having 100% and see it as such a responsibility, see it as like a trust, like that we entrust something with them, that these guys are the ones that are willing to make those tough calls and leave early and do whatever they need to do to be on time. So thank you, Ahmed, and others who do well in this field.
Indeed.
Go ahead and go over this.
Yesterday, three of our dispatchers in the main shift, they Harris is the one that had the most loads yesterday, 19 loads booked. 490 was the average driver pay. And then we had Amr that booked 658 driver pay, and the book loads was 12, with the highest bid win ratio was 10.26%.
Mhm.
Muammar as well booked 9 loads with 5.59% bid win ratio, having the 551 driver pay. While we seen that over the board follow-ups have dropped a bit. We'll sort that out today. Hopefully this will not happen again, guys. But we're doing our best when it comes to this. But as you can see, we have sometimes these days when the follow-up drops. Also, the bid-win ratio drops. This is a concerning thing because this is like a couple of weeks now that we're having this
Mhm.
725, 625, or something like that. So that means there are more loads available, but we're still, we're bidding more but getting the same number or less
Mhm.
number of loads. So we'll work on that and see what we can do.
Yes, sir. All right, man, onward. Best load was a Quebec to Connecticut, 360 miles for $500. That's a nice little load for sure.
Hmm.
You make $500 in any day, it's a good day. And when you get $1.38 a mile, this is that whole thing about Quebec. It can be the greatest area, it can be the most challenging area in the world. Next up, lowest RPM was a Washington to Kentucky. Tell us about this one, Munir.
Yeah, this is what it takes. I mean, yes, the day before we had 21 bids on this driver that were 60 cents a mile or around it, and we didn't book our guy. And yesterday, we booked the Seattle, Washington going to Independence, Kentucky, 2,380 miles for $1,420. This is really below our standard. I don't know anywhere. The minimum that we're going is 70 cents a mile for our drivers, but this is what it takes. He did get a good money going there, but
Yeah.
this is what it takes to get out of there. So 60 cents a mile made it.
Yeah, I mean, really as simple as that. We're not oblivious to the fact that $1,400 for 2,400 miles is not a good rate, but it's either that or you wait for 5 days, maybe you get 70 cents a mile. So if you don't like these rates and no one blames you for not liking them, then stay out of these areas. Um,
Indeed.
Next up, we have the highest RPM and the shortest load, 60 miles for 140, 235 a mile, Rhode Island to Mass to Boston. All right, maintain your vehicle, regularly check your dashboard warnings and daily, and do regular checkups on your van. Report any issues to dispatch. Your safety is our number one priority. Everyone should have a good mechanic. If you don't have a good mechanic, talk to other drivers in your area that you trust, that you have a relationship with. See if they have a good mechanic, that they work with. Um, and then, I would say every time you come home, man, drop your van off at your mechanic, have him just do a quick scan. Um, a breakdown in the wrong time can cost you much, much more than, frequent checkups. If you're gonna pay someone 50 or $100 just to look at your van or whatever, it's worth it more than if you break down and they got a two, three, $4,000 towing plus repair bill. All right, yesterday we did hit our 98% goal. Good job, fleet.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
We had two late arrivals on 90 stops. We were on 98% on time. Phenomenal job. Love to see it. That is our official target. If we stick with high numbers like this, we protect that premium carrier brand. Customers and brokers are willing to pay us top dollar because they know 98% likely we're going to be on time. So good job, everybody. We appreciate your hard work. Anything you want to add
Indeed.
on this?
No, if I can go back a little bit, yesterday we had a
Hey.
situation that I wanted to bring forward. So, of course, we as company, we're doing our best to make sure that our drivers are under compliance when it comes to everything. So, insurance wise, documentation wise, registration wise, that everything is done on their end with their vehicle. So when we're booked on a load, we don't have any problems, or we don't end up, going there with whatever expired license plates or registration. But yesterday we had a situation where one of those slipped through the crack, even though we have that system where we check it and we have the person that is responsible for that. But yesterday, one of those slipped through the cracks. We sent the driver that was on a load, on a government load, I think it was a military shipment as well, that had expired registration. So this is a huge, huge thing for us. The last thing we wanted to happen, and this really speaks about how even when you're doing your best, sometimes one thing slips through the crack, and you end up creating a big problem for you and your customer. In
Yeah,
the
it's
end, customer need. Go ahead.
our favorite, one of our biggest and our favorite customer too, man. Like, it's one of those things that if we didn't have a good relationship with these guys, they would block us and they would send an email to at least 15 other companies saying, be careful, don't work with BHX because XYZ.
Indeed. And in the end, of course, we made a push to just do a audit course and make sure everything is correct, and we'll create some systematic changes that will make sure this does not happen again. But for you guys, don't rely on third party to think about these things. You are the ones that own the vehicle, or you're working in that vehicle, and should be always constantly
Yeah.
observant of that.
Unfortunately, the driver had to pay the price too because he had to go home empty. We can't dispatch a vehicle with expired plates, so yeah, keep an eye on these things. Keep up with it. Like Muniz said, it's your vehicle. You're the owner of it. It's your responsibility. We'll do what we can to support you in it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Eric Thomas, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Have you listened to Eric Thomas?
No, I
I
haven't
haven't
listened to that.
listened to him enough to make a
He
full.
looks he looks too happy for a success killer.
It's
Andy Frisella. When I look at Andy Frisella, and if he said this, I would say, right on, my man. But this guy, I don't know.
so I've listened to a few of his things. There's definitely elements of that like new age motivational speaker thing, you know. I haven't listened to enough of him to be able to really qualify or disqualify. I mean, this statement for sure. If you want to Succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know, man. I don't want to ruin my own um, reputation by standing behind things that. But how do you feel about this statement?
Well, there is truth to it. I mean, when you think about giants of sports, like the biggest competitors such as Jordan, Ronaldo, or Messi, each and every one of them have this probably mentality where just they're killers when it comes to just the needing to succeed or and wanting to succeed, and then they everything in their life serves as a tool to succeed. I don't know if you watched like Holland
As bad
lately.
as you want to breathe, though, man, I find that to be so cheesy and corny. If you want to
Well,
succeed as
it's a
bad as
figure
you
of
want to
speech.
breathe,
It's a
like
it's
that's
a
so cheesy.
it's a figure of speech. Of course, he didn't mean that you can breathe, eat, drink water, and those are like natural instincts. But that's like a figure of speech. So it's scientific today. I mean, especially in sports, when you look at the giants of sports and the best football players or something like that, it's really when you look at their life, it's like whatever they're doing is on par with eating, drinking water, and breathing. So everything is scientific. So I guess there is truth to it. But this is a figure of speech, of course, and I guess.
Um, Someone's saying that your audio is bad, but I mean we're at the end now. It is a
Yeah.
figure of speech, but sometimes, these motivational guys, um, they they lose credibility because of some of the things. I don't know if you've heard, there's a sales guy online, a motivational speaker, and his whole thing is if I kidnapped your family and told you that you have to get 10 sales this month or else I'm going to kill them, would you get 10 sales? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess so. And he goes, see, you should, every month, every day, you should work like someone kidnapped your family and you got to get 10 sales too. It,
I don't
it's
know.
it's so like sometimes what's said is so
Yeah.
far-fetched that it becomes almost comical to people.
Yeah, that guy's like, yeah, that guy's, that's not a normal thing. You cannot compare something that is completely out of ordinary with something that should be ordinary to you or daily life to you. You cannot you won't live that long if you have that constantly in your head. If that's your metaphor for success,
I give
I
this
don't know.
quote a 2 out of 10. You're
Yeah,
giving it a
I'll
10
give
out
it.
of 10?
No, I'm giving like 3 out of 4 out of 10. A
We're
little bit more, just
we're on the same page then.
yeah.
Eric Thomas, I gotta listen to him more to buy in. It's cheesy, too cheesy for me. It's like sitting at
He looks he looks too nice to say something like this, man.
well, yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. He's like those maybe he's not. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but Andy Frisella speaks about these entrepreneurs nowadays that are online and they're talking about this and that and I got this and this is what you got to do. But you look at what they've built and besides building a name for themselves as as a motivational speaker. But I don't know. Maybe Eric Thomas is gonna be my maybe I'm gonna become
Hero.
his biggest fan. All right, so as always, this last one's getting stuck. So let me see if,
Maybe the automation is something like that is wrong.
yeah, I'm gonna see with, okay, now it should come up, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. That's it. Yeah.
All right, so throwback Thursday to our first shipment, West Plains, Missouri to St. Peters, Missouri, February 21st, 2014. We opened the company, took us 10 days sitting at the dining room table, bidding literally like 16 to 20 hours a day type of thing. Um, Having no idea what we're doing, calling brokers, not even knowing what terminology to use. I remember it was a ArcBest or Panther at that time shipment. It was the most exciting thing in the world to book that first shipment. We got to the pickup. The loading guy was kind of, I don't know, being kind of silly or being almost I don't know, he was kind of rude, I thought. But he was asking, well, what's with the 001 on the vehicle? I've told the story, but I said, well, just completely jokingly, not believing it for a second. One day we're gonna have over 100 vehicles in the fleet, so we're gonna need these triple digits. And Alhamdulillah, thank God, we have achieved that. We have had over 100 vehicles in the fleet. And yeah, it was a fun load. I think it was like 260 miles or something, and it paid 550, or it paid a really high amount for that type of a load. So you don't really get those
That's a
rates
huge.
anymore.
Yeah, it's a huge load. Huge load.
Yeah.
What you guys had 10 PIT hours.
More.
No, not 10. 100 PIT. Sorry, 100 PIT
100
hours. 10.
PIT hours.
Man,
Cool, man. We'll conclude there. We'll go back and listen and see what's up with the audio. Emmett said that your audio was bad. Um, we'll be back
sorry
tomorrow.
guys.
Have a safe day, guys. Stop.